Welcome to Island Girl Creative Studio online tutorials. Today we're going to paint the tulips in the boot. This tutorial is going hand in hand with the canvas kit that I'm selling online at www.islandgirlcreativestudio.com. You go to the shop button, you'll be able to click right on the kit. It will come with the 16 by 20 canvas, pre-drawn, with all the paints you need to complete the project, as well as paintbrushes and this beautiful tutorial. All right, well, let's get started. I am going to paint faster than you should, so please keep in mind that you are going to need to pause the video in between different parts that we're painting so that you can catch up. I paint very fast, and also just to keep this video down in size and length so that I can upload it okay on YouTube, I'm going to paint as fast as I can. Keep in mind that does mean that there's going to be mistakes made. This is never meant to be perfect. I will do my very, very best to keep it as in the line as possible, but we also know that I like imperfection. So let's get started. All right, the first color we're going to put on is the background. It's going to be this white with a little bit of the brown in it. You're going to mix it up together to make a beige color. I just used the paintbrush, any paintbrush, to mix it up, just to get it nice and smooth. And you can put that down, or you can wipe the excess paint off. We're just going to paint from this line all the way up and around the edges too. So just making sure just to go from this line up. And if you want to go around a majority of the painting lines, I think that it'll be easier later for the dry time. So we have our sponge brush, we're going to load it up, and we're just going to go ahead and paint that background on. I like to do it from top to bottom or bottom to top like this, up and down, because what we're doing is we're creating a little bit of texture in the background to make it kind of look like an old wooden fence or a wall or something that is rustic looking. And also, if you notice, I am going over the tulips and all the foliage, but I am not going to go over the boot. I'm just going to go around the boot. And also keep in mind that it is light enough that you will be able to see the lines that are already drawn for you. See, I can still see all of the stuff through it, which is exactly what we're going for. Just nice and light enough so that way we don't lose any of that fun design. You don't have to worry about freehanding anything. I like to call the sponge brush my magic wand because it creates texture and it gets the paint on there really fast. Looks really good. All right, and then don't forget to do the top and the sides just to complete that look all the way around. Feels good to be in the studio. I haven't been in here in a very long time and kind of missed it. Finish this up. And voila, the background. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is there's a little bit of burnt sienna, and we're just going to add that to this mixture just to darken it up and to change the color, the tone just a little bit. The burnt sienna is kind of a red color, and we're just going to get it to go in the opposite direction so it looks like a wood floor. It's not a huge dramatic change like the one behind there. That one I just did with brown. This one's just going to have a little bit of a rusty color to it. And again, we're just mixing it up with our paintbrush, and then you can lay down that, whatever's on that paintbrush, go ahead and just lay it down, because it's gonna be all chunked up. And once you're done with that, go back to your sponge brush, grab that new color, and just go ahead and apply that in a left to right direction. Also going around the sides. Right up to that line. And see how it's just a little bit of a different color? It's not tremendously different, it's just a little different. There we go. Beautiful. All right. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to put in those lines in the boards behind our project. You can use this paintbrush to do that, or you can use the sponge brush on its skinny side. And literally you're just going to pull some of that, this color that's still on here, pull it down the canvas, creating what looks like slats in the wood. Right down to there, nice and light. Now keep in mind that we're not going through the tulips, so once you get to the tulips and there's nothing else to go through, just stop and then pick it back up on the bottom and continue it. If you can make them even, that would be great. If not, that's okay, it's rustic. And you know what we like to say about rustic? It's not perfect and you can get away with anything. Beautiful. Okay, very, very light, very, very minute color. Just a little bit on there so that you can see a little bit of a difference. All right, so moving on, we are going to go into our greenery now. We're going to do the greenery. I've got dirty brushes and nowhere to put them. Hold on one second. My paper towels. Okay. So it's really good to have a cup of water for cleaning your brushes, as well as paper towels, so that you can wipe off that excess paint. Okay, so I'm using a paint palette today because I did not bring my cups with me. So I've got this right here. And if you have one at home, you can empty little cups onto there and just use it too. But what we're going to do is there's going to be a mixture of a dark blue and a dark green. There's going to be a mixture of a light green and a dark green. And then there's going to be a mixture of a yellow and a light green. We're going to mix them up individually and use them to create shadow and differences in the leaves, because not all the leaves are the same color. Some are behind, which are shadowed. So like this one would be behind, this one would be behind, and some of them are in the middle, and some of them are all the way forward, which would make them greener than the rest. And then this one is folded, so we'll make this a little bit darker than we will this top right here, but as we go, you'll see. So we just really want to put a really nice first layer of paint on there. Some of these might need an additional layer, so we'll just play it by ear. So unfortunately we can't go to see the tulips, so we'll just go ahead and paint our own. We'll make our own tulip festival right here. Find that if you outline the area that you're painting in, it helps you to focus on where you're painting. because there are a lot of lines in this particular painting, which can get a little confusing to see which is going where and which leaf is kind of popping out. I didn't draw the stems in because that also is very confusing. When there's too many stems, it breaks it all up. And plus, they're going to go in front of almost all of that, so we're just going to leave them for the last thing that we're going to do. There we go. So the two very dark ones. Then you can just wipe your brush off because you're actually using the same color in the next one. We're going to mix up that lighter green color with the darker green color. And we're going to use that to do the next layer of leaves. Do your best to stay out of the tulips. You'll get a better result as if you paint around them as opposed to through them. I'm just using the flat brush to get this done. You can use a smaller brush if you want, if it's easier for you to get into those little places with it. Like I said, the flat one is really good for pulling, and then also puts texture on those leaves. And if you've ever seen tulips leaves, they kind of have, it's like, is it veins, or they're kind of like very textury looking. Now, if I'm painting too fast for you, remember to pause until you're done with your particular application. So if you're working on leaves, you need a minute, just pause. Also, so because this isn't live, I'm able to answer your questions when you paint. So you get to play this when you want to paint, which if it's at, 3 in the morning, or, in 10 in the morning, 6 in the morning, maybe it's nighttime when the kids go to sleep. It'll be at your leisure. So you'll get to paint when you have time. Then you can just contact me through Facebook and ask a question if you have a question. Or you can leave a comment down below as well. And as I get used to this new teaching online alerts and stuff like that, I will get back to you and try to answer any questions you might have about whatever painting we're doing. So that's the top of the leaf, this is the bottom. I'm gonna darken it up a little bit. Let's see here. That looks good. All right, so then we're gonna go for our third color, which is that yellow mixed with the lighter green. I'm gonna use that to paint these last two leaves, which are a little more forward. If you notice that the colors are not bright enough for you, you can always go back and put a second layer on your leaves. So don't worry about it. I kind of like the way they look a little translucent and that they have those lines in them. So I don't think I'm going to go and do a second coat, but that is definitely up to you. Last time I painted that one, I think it was like almost 4 years ago, I want to say. So it's time for an update, that's for sure. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Those darker ones might need a little bit of darkening. Okay, let's see here. So I'm actually gonna play with the color. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of the darker color into the medium color and just make a fourth color. I'm gonna use that for underneath this one right here. And then a little bit, I think I'm gonna darken this up just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, that looks good. So again, play with your greens. You get to decide how you want it to look. When you mix the paints together, each one's going to be a little bit different because I don't have a measuring system for the paints. I just kind of squirt them in the cups, and then we just mix them. And then when we're in a live venue like Skookum or Whitewall, I'm able to adjust those colors for you. But because I'm not with you, you're going to have to do it on your own, and that's okay. Look at that. That's so pretty. Oh, I love it. It's like a bed of lettuce. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of the lighter color green back on here. This one got a little thick. I'm going to thin it out. Right in between those tulips. Maybe add a little bit to this one. The heat kicked on. Do you hear that whistling? That's the heat in here. There's a lot of cars driving by too, but and while I'm at it, let's just do this one too. It's so peaceful painting here as opposed to at my house. So if you watched the llama video, it's quite crazy. There's my birds, my dogs, my kid. I think my husband is mowing the lawn at one point. It's definitely a lot. But here, all I have to do is worry about the traffic going by and the heat or the air coming on, which is kind of peaceful. Feel free to play music in the background so that you don't have to just listen to me talk or the paint hitting the canvas. This is just getting better and better, and I just absolutely love it. So fantastic. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this lighter green on this leaf right here just to make it look like it's a little shiny, because you know how they're a little bit waxy looking. So we had the medium green, and then we have this lighter green on top of it, and it just kind of makes it look a little bit waxy, which is good. I like it. Yeah, that looks great to me. Okay, so next we're gonna paint our boot. We're gonna give it a nice covering of color. And I suggest you go back to the round brush, and we're gonna mix up, the color is, oh, I think I did have some cups. It's gonna be the cobalt blue mixed with the darker green color, and that's gonna give us a turquoisey color if I got the right mixture. It might need a little bit of white in there too. Okay. I'll make sure to put some white in yours. Yeah, there it is. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so then we're going to put the first layer on our boot. So we're just going to go ahead and paint inside the boot. And remember, this is just the first layer. What is on my hand? Oh, there's black paint on my hand. Good thing I have a ton of paper towels. It's always good to have paper towels nearby when you're painting. This is acrylics, and these are definitely soap and water washable, but they just seem to get everywhere. Or maybe it's just me, I don't know, maybe I'm messy. I'm not wearing an apron, but I get it all over my hands. Make it nice and smooth. Remember, these are rubber boots, so we want to pull it nice and smooth. That's one boot. And here's our second boot. I find that if you paint things individually, they don't get lost when, even if they're the same color as something right next to them, when you give them their own form, they stay. Yeah. Beautiful. Now, if you feel confident in your cleaning abilities, you can always clean out your sponge brush, and you can use it for this too. It will get that paint on there way faster. You won't have as many lines as I do, but then you have to clean it up. And I'm not a fan of cleaning them out. Okay, there it is. First layer of paint. Smooth all out. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry before we put anything else on top of it, because we want to get a nice solid color on those boots. And we all know that if we let the paint dry, that it will add to it instead of pulling it back off. Okay, so next up we're going to paint in our tulips, because now our greenery should be dry. So you're going to clean off your brush. We're going to use the flat one, and you're going to have three colors. We're going to have a violet color, we're going to have a pink and orange mixture, and then we're going to have a pink one. And you're going to have to add a little bit of white to each of them depending on the color that you're looking for. So to get that kind of violet-y color, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to